The battle was over, but the air still carried the smell of smoke and burned metal. A human soldier lay on the ground. His armor cracked, his body weak, his head throbbed, and his vision blurred as he tried to stay awake. Around him, alien voices whispered, quick and sharp. He felt hands grip his shoulders, not rough like enemies, but steady. He blinked and saw strange faces above him, tall figures with glowing marks across their skin. They were not soldiers, they were medics. One of them leaned closer, a young alien with silver eyes that seemed to glow even in the dim light. Her voice was calm, low, almost soothing. "You will live," she said softly. "But I need a sample first." Her words confused him. A sample? He had been treated by machines, by human doctors, by field kits. A sample meant blood or tissue, a syringe, a scanner. But she carried none of those things, only her bare hands. Trembling slightly as if holding back something she could not explain, the soldier tried to speak, but his throat felt dry. His lips barely moved. "What kind of sample?" he whispered. The medic's eyes flickered. She hesitated before answering. "The kind only I can take." A cold shiver ran down his spine. He had fought many enemies, seen death countless times. But this was different. He was alive, but for the first time, he wondered if being alive might be worse than dying. Her hands brushed against his arm. Her skin felt warm, almost too warm. His body reacted before his mind could. His heart beat faster, his breath shortened. He tried to pull away, but he was too weak. The medic looked into his eyes. Her face was close now. So close he could see faint patterns under her skin. Lines that pulsed like tiny rivers of light. She spoke again, softer. "Do not fear, I am here to heal, but to heal you. I must break a rule." Her words made little sense. Rules? Whose rules? Why would healing need rules? He wanted to ask, but his strength was slipping around them. The other medics worked on different soldiers, voices echoing, machines humming, but here, in this small circle of silence, it felt like only the two of them existed. She leaned closer still, so near he could feel her breath. "If I do not take it, you will die within hours. Your wounds are poisoned, you cannot see it." "But I can," his stomach tightened. Poisoned? He remembered the fight. Strange weapons cutting through the air, energy that burned without fire. Could they have infected him? Was that why he felt so weak? The medic nodded, as if reading his silent fear. "Yes, I can see it spreading. That is why I need your sample." Her hand rested against his chest now, right above his heart, a steady pressure, firm but gentle. It made him feel both comforted and afraid. "What will you do?" he managed to ask, his voice breaking. She didn't answer directly. Instead, her silver eyes grew brighter and she whispered, "I will take what I need. But my method, it may leave you weak in the knees. Weak in the knees." The phrase echoed in his mind. It was not the kind of thing a medic should say, not in the middle of a war zone, not to a man already broken and bleeding, but there was no fear in her tone. Only something strange, something almost personal. The soldier tried to lift his arm, tried to push her back, but his strength failed him. His fingers brushed against her wrist instead. Light and trembling, the moment stretched. Heavy with unspoken meaning, she leaned even closer, until her forehead almost touched his. "Trust me," she whispered, "just once. Trust me." His heart pounded like a drum. He could hear the blood rushing in his ears. His body screamed at him to resist, to demand answers. But his mind whispered a different truth. He had no choice. If he refused, he would die here alone in the dirt. If he allowed her, maybe he would live, and so he closed his eyes, waiting. But nothing could have prepared him for what came next. The medic placed her hand flat against his chest. Her skin glowed faintly. Warmth spread through him. Not like heat from a fire, but like a wave of energy that filled every corner of his body. His muscles tensed, then loosened as if melting away. His breath caught. His knees, if he had been standing, would have buckled. He opened his eyes wide, staring at her in shock. She was concentrating. Her lips pressed together, her eyes shut tight. Her whole body shook with effort, as if she was drawing something out of him. Something invisible, something vital. The soldier gasped, not from pain, but from the strange rush inside him. He felt drained yet alive, weak yet burning with strange energy. The medic finally pulled her hand back. Her body trembled. Sweat glistened on her skin. She looked at him with tired eyes, and for a brief second he thought he saw guilt. "It has begun," she whispered, her voice almost breaking. "But it is only the first step." The soldier's heart raced faster. He wanted to ask what she meant, but the words died on his lips. The truth was clear already. Whatever she had done was not normal medicine, not by human standards, maybe not even by alien ones, and deep inside, a chilling thought began to grow. If this was just the beginning, what would the next step cost him? The soldier lay still, his chest rising and falling as he tried to process what had just happened. His body felt both lighter and heavier at the same time. It was as if the medic had reached into his core and touched something no human hand should touch. He wanted to ask her questions, to demand answers, but his voice was gone, stolen by weakness. His lips moved, but only a faint sound escaped. The medic leaned closer, her silver eyes glowing faintly. "Do not speak," she whispered. "Save your strength. This is only the beginning." Her tone was calm, but her hands betrayed her. They trembled as she adjusted the thin cloth covering his chest. She was nervous, maybe even afraid, and that fear made him uneasy. He had seen fear before on the battlefield, in the eyes of men who knew they would not live to see the next sunrise. But this fear was different. It was not fear of death. It was fear of doing something forbidden. The soldier's mind fought to stay clear. His instinct screamed at him. Something was wrong. This was no normal treatment. Finally, he forced words through his dry throat. What did you do?" The medic froze. Her glowing eyes shifted away as if she could not face him. Then after a pause she whispered, "I started the resonance." The word meant little to him, but the way she said it carried weight. Like a secret spoken in the dark, he coughed weakly, his body shaking. "Resonance? What is that?" She looked back at him then, and for the first time her face was not calm. Her expression was tight, her voice unsteady. "Machines cannot read human blood correctly, not when poisoned by nanites. Only my kind can detect it, but the method is not allowed." The soldier blinked, confusion mixing with anger. "Not allowed." "Why? You're trying to save me." Her lips pressed together, as if holding back something heavy. Then she leaned closer and whispered in his ear, "Because our bodies must connect, your blood must answer my touch. My breath must align with your pulse, my skin with your skin. Only then can I draw out the truth hidden inside you." Her words made his heart beat faster, not because he understood, but because of how close she was. He could feel the warmth of her cheek near his, the steady rhythm of her breathing. It didn't sound like medicine, it sounded like something else. Something personal, intimate, even dangerous. The soldier's instincts told him to resist, to push her away, but his body betrayed him. His strength was gone, his heart raced, his chest tightened, and he realized he could not stop her even if he wanted to. The medic's hands moved again. She placed one against his temple, the other against his chest. Her palms glowed faintly, lines of light crawling along her skin. She closed her eyes and whispered words in a language he did not know. The sound was soft, almost like a song, and then it began again. Warmth spread through him, not like the sting of medicine, but like liquid fire. His vision blurred. His muscles twitched, he gasped, feeling both weaker and strangely alive. The medic's breathing grew heavy. Her voice cracked as she spoke. "It is working, I can see them. The nanites, they are inside you, hidden in your blood. They spread like shadows, they would have killed you in hours." The soldier clenched his fists, fighting the strange weakness. Then, "Take them out, finish it." Her silver eyes opened, full of sorrow. "It is not that simple. To remove them, I must go deeper. The resonance must be stronger, and each time it will hurt you. It will leave you weaker." Weaker, he almost laughed. He already felt as if he had nothing left to lose. His body was broken, his strength gone. What more could weakness take from him? But there was something in her voice that made him pause. She wasn't just warning him, she was warning herself. Her hands shook, her body trembled. She was suffering too. The soldier looked at her carefully. "If it's hurting you, why do it?" She didn't answer at first, her lips pressed tight, her eyes shifting away. Finally, she whispered, "Because no one else will. Humans are not my people. Saving you is not my duty. But I could not let you die, not like this." Her voice cracked on the last words, and he realized this wasn't just duty, it was choice, a dangerous personal choice. The silence between them grew heavy, filled only by his shallow breathing and her trembling whispers. Then she spoke again, softer than before. "If we continue, you may not be able to stand. You may not even stay conscious. Are you sure you want this?" The soldier stared at her, his mind racing. He thought of his unit, of the battle, of how easily he could have been left behind in the dirt. If she had not stopped, he would already be dead. I don't have a choice, he whispered. His voice hoarse but steady. Do it. The medic closed her eyes, her hands tightening against him. Her lips moved again, words flowing like a prayer, and the resonance deepened. This time it was stronger, fiercer. The soldier's vision went white, his body arched. His pulse hammered so fast he thought his heart might break. His muscles felt as if they were dissolving, every nerve screamed, but beneath it, he felt something else, an invisible thread pulling between them, connecting his life to hers, binding them in a way he did not understand. The medic gasped, her body shaking. Sweat sliding down her face, she leaned forward, her forehead brushing against his. Her voice broke as she whispered, "Stay with me." Just a little longer. His mind swam, his strength faded. His world tilted into darkness, and yet in that final moment before he slipped away, one thought struck him clear as lightning. This alien medic was not just saving him, she was breaking something far greater, something bigger than either of them and whatever secret she carried. It was only the beginning. The soldier's eyes snapped open. His chest rose and fell in sharp breaths for a moment. He thought he had blacked out completely, but the medic's hand still rested on him, glowing faintly. Her face hovered above his, pale. Her silver eyes dimmed with exhaustion. She pulled her hand back slowly. Almost as if it hurt to let go, her whole body trembled, and sweat ran down her temples. She whispered, almost too softly, "It is worse than I thought." The soldier swallowed hard. His throat dry, his voice came out as a rasp. What is inside me?" The medic looked at him, guilt written on her face. "Nanites," she said finally. "Thousands of them spreading through your blood. They are not natural, they are weapons. Nanites." The word struck him like a blade. He had heard of them. Machines smaller than dust. Invisible killers that could crawl into your blood and tear you apart from the inside. But humans had banned them long ago. Even enemies feared them. He clenched his fists weakly. "So that's why I feel like this," the medic nodded. "Yes. They are cutting you from the inside piece by piece by now. They are binding to your heart, your lungs. Soon, you will not breathe at all." Her words chilled him more than the battlefield ever had. Bullets, plasma, blades, those he understood. But this was something silent, hidden, unstoppable. His head turned slightly, searching her face. "Then how do you stop them?" She looked away for a moment, her hands curled into fists. She spoke slowly, carefully, as if weighing every word. "I already started the process. The resonance can draw them out, break their hold, but—" Her voice trailed off. "But what?" The soldier pushed, his voice shaking. She finally met his eyes again. Her silver gaze was full of fear, not for herself, but for him. "Each time I do it, the strain grows. It weakens you, it weakens me if I push too far. One of us may not survive." Silence fell heavy between them. The sounds of the medical station outside faded into nothing. It was just the two of them in this strange, dangerous truth. The soldier closed his eyes for a moment. His mind raced. He thought of his squad, his orders, his life. He thought of the enemies who had tried to kill him, and the medic who now fought to save him. When he opened his eyes again, his voice was firm. "If I don't go through it, I die anyway, right?" The medic hesitated, then nodded. "Yes. Then we keep going," he said. His tone was steady, though his body trembled. Her lips parted as if to argue, but she stopped herself. Instead, she leaned closer, her voice trembling. "You do not understand. Each resonance ties us closer. My people forbid it for a reason. It is not only dangerous, it is binding." "Binding?" he asked, his brows furrowed. She hesitated again, her silver eyes flickering with something deeper. "Our bodies, our energy, they begin to share, to heal you. I must give part of myself. Piece by piece, when this is over, I will not be the same." Her words hit him like a second shock. This was not just about healing. It was sacrifice. He stared at her, his voice breaking. "Why risk that? I'm just a soldier. I mean nothing to your people." The medic's face softened. And for a moment the mask of duty slipped away, because I could not watch another human die. "Not you." The air between them grew heavier. His chest tightened, not from the nanites this time, but from her words. There was no logic in them. No duty, no order, just choice. A choice that went against everything her people believed. Before he could answer, she placed her hand against his side. Her glow returned, brighter this time. The warmth spread faster, but so did the pain. He gasped, his body arching. The resonance cut deeper. Searching, pulling, every nerve screamed. He bit down on his lip until he tasted blood. His vision blurred, and he thought he might lose himself completely. The medic cried out softly. Her body trembled as much as his. Her silver eyes flickered, her lips trembling as she whispered words in her own tongue. The glow between them grew stronger, and then, suddenly, his body jerked. He felt something inside him tear loose. He gasped as if drowning. His mouth opened in a silent scream. The medic's hand shook violently, and she pulled back between her glowing palms. Tiny sparks of black light shimmered like dust. They writhed in the air like living shadows, twisting and curling before fading into nothing. She collapsed forward, barely catching herself before falling against him. Her breath came fast, ragged, her voice was broken. One cluster, gone, but there are more. The soldier's chest rose and fell in painful bursts. His strength almost gone, but his mind clear. He had felt it. That thing inside him ripped out like a thorn from his veins, and if more remained, then this was only the start. He looked at her, weak but firm. Then we keep going, she shook her head, her silver eyes wide with fear. If we keep going like this, it will kill us both, but the soldier only managed a faint, tired smile. Better we die fighting together than I die alone from shadows. Her lips trembled, her breath shaky, and in her silence, he saw the truth: she would not abandon him. No matter the cost, the hidden danger had been revealed. But so had something else, something deeper, stronger. More dangerous than the nanites, a bond was forming, one that neither human law nor alien rule would ever allow. And with every resonance it grew stronger. The soldier lay on the narrow bed, his body trembling as if every bone carried fire. His breathing was shallow, but his mind refused to let go. He stared at the ceiling, cracked metal above him, listening to the faint hum of alien machines beside him. The medic sat on the floor, her back against the wall. Her silver eyes were half closed, her chest rising and falling in uneven breaths. Sweat clung to her face. Her glowing hands rested limp on her lap. Dim as dying stars, for the first time, he realized she was breaking just as much as he was. You should... Stop, he whispered, his voice hoarse. You'll kill yourself. She looked up, shaking her head, her lips curved into a tired, sad smile. If I stop, the nanites win. They do not sleep, they do not wait. Every breath you take is a race against them. Her words stabbed at him. He wanted to argue, but deep down he knew she was right. The poison inside him didn't care about mercy. It only cared about spreading. Still, he frowned. And what about you? You're barely holding on. The medic lowered her gaze. It is the cost of resonance. It feeds on both of us. It makes me weak. Weak in the knees, weak everywhere, but it is the only way. She pressed her hand against her chest as if to steady her racing heart. He noticed the glow under her skin flicker and dim, like a candle fighting wind. The soldier tried to move, tried to sit up, but his body refused him. His legs shook violently, as if they no longer belonged to him. He laughed bitterly, though the sound cracked into a cough. You weren't lying. I can't even stand, my knees. They're useless. The medic gave a faint laugh too, though it was heavy with sadness, and yet, you still smile. He turned his head toward her, his voice rough. Because I'm still alive. And that's because of you. For a moment, silence stretched between them, heavy, fragile. Then the medic stood slowly. Unsteady on her feet, she walked to him, every step trembling, and knelt at his side. Her silver eyes locked onto his, glowing faintly. It is time again, she whispered. Fear stabbed at him. His body already felt drained. His mind screamed for rest, but he saw the resolve in her eyes, the quiet fire that told him she would not quit. And he knew then, if she was willing to keep fighting. So was he. Do it, he said firmly, even as his voice shook. The medic placed one hand over his chest, the other on his temple. Her eyes closed, her lips moved in a whisper, soft words in her strange tongue. Then it began. The warmth rushed through him again, stronger than before. His body arched, muscles tightening until he thought they might snap. He bit down on a groan, his fists clenching against the thin sheets. His heart thundered in his chest, faster, harder, until he thought it would tear free. Every nerve in his body screamed. His vision flickered with white light. His knees jerked, his legs shook violently. He had no strength to control them. He gasped, sweat pouring down his face, and through it all he felt her. Her hands trembled against him, her body pressed close. Her breathing matched his, fast, desperate. Their pulses seemed to beat as one. A strange thread of energy tied them together, pulling, twisting, binding. Her silver eyes opened suddenly, glowing brighter. Her lips trembled as she whispered, "Stay with me." He wanted to answer, but his voice was gone. All he could do was hold on to the sound of her voice, the heat of her touch, the glow that poured into him even as it drained her. Then it happened, like before, but stronger. He felt the nanites rip loose, tearing away from his blood. He gasped, his body convulsing as a dark shimmer rose from his chest into her glowing hands. They writhed like black sparks, twisting violently before fading into nothing. The medic cried out softly, staggering, nearly falling onto him. He caught her weakly with his shaking arms, his own body trembling like dry leaves in the wind. For a moment, neither of them moved. Both were too weak, too drained, their bodies pressed together. Hearts racing, finally, the medic whispered, her voice faint, 2 clusters. Gone, but more remain. The soldier's head rested back against the bed, his eyes heavy, his voice was barely a breath. Then we keep fighting until it's done. Her silver eyes shimmered with emotion. Even if it kills us? He looked at her, his lips curling into a faint smile despite the pain. Then we die together. Her breath caught. Her hands tightened against him. For a second she looked away, but then she leaned closer, her forehead brushing his. "You are a fool," she whispered, her voice trembling. "But so am I." And in that quiet moment, as the hum of alien machines filled the room, 2 broken beings, one human, one alien, sat bound by something neither fully understood. Both of them weak in the knees, both of them trembling, yet neither willing to let go. And though death waited just beyond the door, something new had taken root between them, fragile but unbreakable, something stronger than fear, stronger than pain, a bond. The soldier woke with a jolt. His chest rose and fell as if he had been drowning. His body ached everywhere, but he was still alive. That alone felt like a miracle. Beside him, the medic sat slumped in a chair, her head tilted, her silver eyes closed in uneasy sleep. Her hands glowed faintly, even in rest. The glow was weaker than before, dim and flickering like an old lantern. He studied her face for a long moment. In the battlefield, he had seen warriors fierce enough to fight armies, leaders strong enough to command fleets. Yet here was one alien medic, smaller than him, trembling with weakness, who had risked everything to keep him alive, and he could not understand why. Slowly, he tried to move his legs. His knees shook violently. Refusing to obey, he clenched his teeth, frustration burning inside him. "Damn it," he muttered under his breath. The sound stirred her awake. Her silver eyes opened, tired but sharp. She leaned forward quickly. "Don't push yourself." "You're not ready," he frowned, his voice hoarse. "I'm sick of feeling useless. You're giving everything. And I can't even stand." Her gaze softened. "You're alive." That is enough, but it wasn't enough for him. He hated lying there while she nearly collapsed every time she touched him. After a long silence, he asked the question that had been burning in his mind since the start. "Why is this method forbidden?" Her eyes widened slightly as if she had not expected him to ask so directly. She looked away, her jaw tight. For a long moment, she said nothing. Her silence was heavier than any answer. Finally, she whispered, "Because resonance is not medicine. It is bonding." "Bonding?" he echoed, his brow furrowed. She nodded slowly, her voice trembling. "Our energy does not just heal, it ties my body, my breath, my pulse. They begin to match yours. My people believe it is sacred, meant only for families. For chosen pairs, never for strangers, never for enemies." The soldier's chest tightened. "Chosen pairs? You mean like—" She cut him off quickly. "Do not speak it. If the council knew what I've done, they would call me corrupted, they would exile me. Maybe worse." He stared at her shocked. "For saving me?" Her silver eyes glimmered with sorrow. "No. For choosing you. For letting my energy bind with yours." The weight of her words sank into him. This wasn't just dangerous, this was against her entire people's law. Her every action was a crime, and she had chosen to risk it for him. A human she had only just met. His voice came out low, heavy with guilt. "You shouldn't have, I'm not worth that." She leaned closer, her face inches from his. Her voice grew sharp. "Do not say that. You think I do not know the cost? I chose this path with my eyes open. If I let you die, I would carry that shame forever. Better to carry exile than your blood on my hands." Her words left him silent. His heart pounded, not from the nanites this time, but from the fire in her voice. At last he whispered, "And now? What happens if someone finds out?" Her gaze dropped to the floor. Then I am no longer a medic, no longer one of my people. I will be cast out alone, and you will be marked too, he frowned. Marked? She nodded. Once bound, the energy leaves traces. Others will see it, they will know. To them, you will not be a patient. You will be something else, something dangerous. His mind reeled. It was bad enough fighting enemies on the battlefield. Now he might carry a mark that turned him into a target even among allies. Then why tell me? He asked. Her silver eyes met his again. Clear and unflinching. Because you deserve the truth. You should know the cost of living. If you wish to stop, we can stop now. But the nanites will finish what they began. You will not see another dawn. The soldier closed his eyes. Her words cut deep, but they also made something else rise inside him. Not fear, resolve. He opened his eyes again, staring straight at her. We finish this. Her lips parted, surprise flickering across her face. Even knowing what it means. Yes, he said firmly. If exile is the price, then we share it. If danger is the cost, then I'll carry it too. You're not alone in this anymore. Her breath caught. Her silver eyes shimmered with something he could not name. Her hands trembled as she reached out, almost touching his, then stopped, pulling back as if afraid of her own choice. You speak like one of us, she whispered, her voice breaking. And maybe, he answered softly. That's not a bad thing. For a moment. Silence filled the room again, but it was no longer heavy. It was something else, fragile, powerful, alive. The medic finally leaned forward, placing her hand against his chest once more. Her voice was steady this time. Then we continue. Together. The soldier closed his eyes, bracing himself. His heart pounded. His knees trembled, but he no longer felt fear. The forbidden truth had been spoken, and instead of breaking them apart, it had bound them tighter. Whatever came next. It would not be healer and patient, alien and human. It would be something far more dangerous, something the galaxy itself might never forgive. The soldier's body felt like stone. Every breath came heavy, every muscle screamed. His chest burned where the medic's hand had pressed again and again, but his eyes stayed open, fixed on her. The alien medic looked worse than before. Her silver eyes had lost their glow, her skin pale. Her hands trembling so badly she could hardly keep them steady. She leaned against the wall, breathing hard. Still, she whispered. There are more clusters. If we stop now, the nanites will win. Her voice was cracked, thin but filled with stubborn fire. The soldier shook his head weakly. You're breaking yourself to save me. You can't keep doing this. She gave a faint, tired laugh. It is not about what I can do. It is about what I must do. Her words dug deep into him. He wanted to argue, but the truth was written in her eyes. This wasn't about rules anymore, or exile, or even her own life she had chosen, and nothing could turn her back. The room was silent except for the hum of machines and the echo of their breathing. The soldier clenched his fists, forcing his voice to stay steady. Then we finish it, but if you fall, I'm not leaving you behind. Her silver eyes widened slightly. She looked at him as if he had said something no one ever had before. A faint shiver ran through her, but then she nodded. Very well, she whispered, one last time, but it will be the hardest. She moved closer, slowly, her legs shaking under her. She placed her hand against his chest once more. The glow flickered faintly, weak and unstable. She shut her eyes, her lips moving in her strange language. The resonance began. At first it was gentle, like a whisper inside his blood, but then it grew, fierce and violent. The soldier gasped, his back arching against the bed. His veins felt like fire, his chest hammered with unbearable force. His heart felt like it might explode. His knees jerked uncontrollably, his whole body trembling. His vision filled with white sparks. He wanted to scream, but no sound came out. The medic cried out softly, her own body shaking as much as his. Her glow grew brighter, flickering wildly. Her breath came fast and shallow. Sweat poured down her face, dripping onto his armor, onto his skin. He realized she was pouring everything she had into this final attempt, every ounce of her life, every spark of her strength. The soldier forced his arm up, his hand trembling as he grabbed her wrist. His voice cracked through the storm inside him. Don't kill yourself for me. Her silver eyes opened, glowing bright again, her lips trembled. If I don't, you die. I would rather fall with you than live knowing I let you go. Her words cut deeper than any blade. His heart clenched, not from the nanites, but from her choice. She was binding herself to him completely, and there was no turning back. The resonance reached its peak, his body convulsed. His chest felt as if it was tearing apart. Dark sparks erupted between them. Twisting like shadows, they rose into the air, writhing violently before breaking apart and vanishing. The medic screamed softly. Her body collapsing forward, she fell against him, her forehead pressing to his, her breath ragged, her glow fading to almost nothing. The soldier could barely hold her, his arms weak, but he pulled her close anyway. "Stay with me," he whispered, his voice trembling. "Don't you dare leave me now." Her silver eyes fluttered, half closed. Her lips moved faintly. "It is done. The clusters are gone. You will live." Relief and terror hit him at the same time. Relief because he could feel the poison fading from his veins. Terror because she looked like she might not survive. He shook his head violently, forcing his fading strength to return. "No, not without you. If I live, you live. I'm not letting you go." Her breath caught, her body trembling against him. She whispered faintly, "It doesn't work that way. Humans were never meant to endure resonance. You pushed further than anyone ever has. You survived. But I may not." He refused to accept it. He gripped her hand tightly, ignoring the weakness in his own body. "Then take from me," he said, his voice fierce. "If I can give back even a little, take it. Take my strength." Her eyes widened, glowing faintly again. "That is not how it works." "Yes, it is," he cut her off, his voice sharp. "You said resonance binds us, then let it bind both ways. If I owe you my life, then take it, take what you need." The medic stared at him, her lips trembling. Slowly, she pressed her hand over his heart. Her eyes closed. The glow returned faintly. Not from her, but from him, the soldier gasped, feeling the strange pull in reverse. His chest tightened, his knees shook harder. His breath came ragged, but he forced himself to stay awake. His strength flowed into her. Her body shivered, her silver eyes snapping open. Brighter again, her breathing steadied, her hands stopped shaking. Her glow grew stronger as she absorbed what he gave. He almost collapsed from the strain, but he smiled faintly. "See? We fight together." Tears welled in her silver eyes. She leaned forward, pressing her forehead to his, whispering, "Foolish human. But thank you." They stayed like that. Two broken beings clinging to each other, bound by resonance, sharing strength where none should exist. The nanites were gone, the poison defeated. But the price was clear. They were no longer just soldier and medic. Human and alien. They were something else now. Something neither law nor council could accept, and the galaxy would make them pay for it. The soldier awoke hours later. The pain that had burned through his body was gone. His breathing was steady, his chest light. For the first time since the battle, he felt whole. He blinked, turning his head slowly. The medic sat beside him, her silver eyes closed, her hands resting in her lap. The glow within her skin was faint but alive. Her chest rose and fell in gentle rhythm. She was still here, still breathing. Relief crashed over him, stronger than victory on any battlefield. He tried to sit up, and though his legs trembled, they obeyed. He could stand again. The medic stirred, her silver eyes opening. She looked at him with surprise. "You're awake." And standing. He gave a faint smile. "Thanks to you." But her expression did not mirror his. Her face was troubled, her voice low. "You don't understand what this means. We have gone too far. The resonance has marked us. Anyone who sees us will know." He frowned. "Know what?" Her silver eyes glimmered. "That you are no longer only human, and I am no longer only alien. Our energy has fused. Our bond is written into our blood. You are my patient no longer. You are mine." The soldier froze at her words. His chest tightened. His heart pounded faster. He remembered how her voice had trembled when she warned him earlier, how her hands had shaken, not because she feared failure, but because she feared exactly this. He swallowed hard. "And what will your people do when they find out?" Her face darkened. "Exile me, punish me, perhaps worse to them. Resonance with a human is worse than betrayal. It is unclean, forbidden." He clenched his fists, anger rising. "They would punish you for saving a life?" She gave a bitter smile. "They would not see it as saving. They would see it as binding myself to an enemy." The soldier took a deep breath, then stepped forward, his legs still shaking but strong enough. He reached down, taking her trembling hand in his. Her silver eyes widened at his touch. "Then let them," he said, his voice steady. "If they cast you out, then you won't be alone. Because I'll be with you." Her lips parted in shock. Her silver eyes shimmered. "You would give up your people too, for me?" He squeezed her hand, his voice firm. I already gave up my life for this war. What's left of it belongs to the one who saved me. I won't let them take you from me. Her breath caught. She lowered her gaze, her lips trembling as she whispered, You speak as if we share one fate. He lifted her chin gently, forcing her to meet his eyes. Because we do. The silence that followed was heavy but no longer frightening. It was filled with something else, something fragile but unbreakable. For the first time since the war began, the soldier felt hope. The medic's silver eyes softened, and tears glistened there. She leaned forward, pressing her forehead lightly against his. Her voice broke as she whispered, Then whatever comes. We face it together, outside the small chamber. The world still raged, soldiers moved, machines hummed, and distant thunder from the battlefield echoed like drums. But inside it was quiet. 2 lives had changed forever. The soldier no longer carried the poison that had been eating him alive, but he carried something greater, the bond of resonance. And the medic no longer carried the rules of her people, but she carried something stronger, trust. When she finally pulled back, her silver eyes glowed faintly again. Stronger than before, she smiled for the first time, soft and real. You should rest, there is still a road ahead. He shook his head, returning her smile. I've rested enough from now on. I walked beside you, they stood together, weak but unbroken. Each step was shaky, but each step was shared. The galaxy outside would not understand. The council would call it forbidden, his commanders would call it dangerous. Perhaps both their people would call it betrayal. But none of that mattered now, because in the shadows of war, in the silence between battles, a soldier and a medic had found something stronger than law, stronger than blood, stronger even than death itself. Not healer and patient, not human and alien, but bound souls tied by choice. And as they walked out of the chamber side by side, the soldier whispered the words that would carry them forward. More than just a patient, you are my partner now. The medic's silver eyes shimmered with quiet fire as she whispered back, and you are mine. Together they stepped into an uncertain future, but whatever waited beyond exile or war, judgment or freedom, they would not face it alone, for in that moment they had already won.